We are crotchety old men. We are crotchety old men. I am crotchety, they are crotchety, we are crotchety old men. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of We Are Crotchety Old Men, a podcast not just for us, but for you as well, where we would like to hear from you. We would like to have you be part of this podcast, not just listen to us. So, where we want to go is we want to know, are you crotchety, irked, slightly annoyed, frustrated, maybe even a little pissed off, just not angry? You're just crotchety, a little grr. Well, this podcast really is for you. What we would like for you to reach out to us at wearecrotchetyoldmen at gmail.com. And we want you eventually to be on our show with us. But for now, it's myself and Crotchety Abigail.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Abigail. Well, what we're going to be doing is we're going to actually just kind of tell you about our little trip we had and some of the things we just did last week. And then once we start, we're going to be having guests come in pretty much every week, and we're just going to have conversations. What takes them off? Not to the point where they're angry, but it's the little things. Like when you wake up in the middle of the night and say, "Ah, shit, I forgot to do that," and then it annoys you. That kind of crotchety. That's kind of me, and Abigail. And as you could tell, my first part about being crotchety is that I had to sing that song. I am so sorry. It is so bad that I sang that. Our original musician, who was supposed to have our songs for us, was unavailable. So I had to go solo. And if you noticed, well, we're Abigail is not exactly a crotchety old man. She's not even a crotchety old lady. She's just a beautiful lady who's sitting across from me. and But with that, we also had two other people who were going to join us as our first guests, and they bailed on us. So we're going forward with this. We're trying to see what we can do. So anyway, so Miss Abigail, Miss Crotchety Abigail,
Yes.
since you and we had a lot of adventures this week. What exactly? Tell me what is exactly what we did, because it was kind of bizarre, funny, and yeah, there were some crotchety moments.
Well, I mean, the morning started out that we had to drive almost 5 hours to get to our destination. But it ended up being a jam-packed day.
Well, so was it 5 a.m.? Wow, 5 hours. Where were you going roughly?
Down to the Blacksburg region.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a very mountainous area out there. What were you doing?
Went to see a good friend.
Cool.
She set up a lot of activities for us.
Now, is she a crotchety friend or is she a good friend?
She's a good friend, but she certainly can get crotchety as well.
Nice, nice. Hey, maybe we'll have her on as well. Now, with that, so let's begin our day. So you got up, you hopped in the car. What time was it when you roughly got up?
Around 4:30 or 5 a.m.
4:30. Okay, so you woke up the chickens. You're like, hey, get out, wake up.
I did.
Nice. And then you went out and did you have breakfast on the road? Did you drink coffee? What were you doing?
Well, in fact, we did stop off at Cracker Barrel.
Ah, good. I am a huge fan of the barrel of crackers. Uh, I like it. Now, once again, this is me actually not crotchety. I went with the grandma meal, grandma sampler that had way too much food. What'd you go with?
I went light. I went with 2 eggs over easy and toast.
Okay, all right. And then, so you're going, you get there. What were some of the activity? What was the first activity you guys did? You guys that we did. I'm all over the place.
We hung out at her place for a little bit, and then we headed for a nice lunch at a pizzeria.
Nice.
But then things really got kicked off. We went to do an escape room.
An escape room. And tell me about the escape room. I've never been to one. This was my first time, so I didn't do a really good job. So I want to know what was it about the escape room? Was it fun? Was it annoying? Like, what was it like for you?
To be honest, it was pretty frustrating
Okay, why was it frustrating?
because essentially it's number one, it was very expensive, but
What?
it was up to six people,
Okay, and what's expensive?
$150.
Damn, $150. Okay,
And you
uh,
get 1 hour. They put
one
you
hour.
in the room, they give you a little bit of advice, then they shut you in.
Okay,
This particular room was a jailhouse.
okay,
And on one side of the room were the prisoners,
okay,
and there was a jail cell in between the next room, um, which included a group that I was in.
okay. And we were divided, by the way,
Yes, we were
audience.
divided.
So I was not with Crotchety Abigail.
No, you were in the jail cell.
I was in the jail cell. I wonder why. Oops, my bad. We'll talk about that possibly on another podcast later on down the line. But so you were on the outside. I was on the inside. So there was three people with you. Well, two people with you. My math sucks, by the way, as you could tell. So two people on your side, two people on my side. And what? I was overwhelmed by the puzzles because every puzzle was like a mathematical equation. Because on our side, there were four black boxes. Each black box had two numerical locks on them. And so it was all numbers based. It wasn't something like read a book and know like a famous quote and find that quote in the famous book. There was none of that. It was, okay, here's a puzzle and you have to come up with all the numbers. And in fact, one puzzle actually had Greek letters. I barely speak English, and you really want me to understand Greek? That was horrible. But what was it like on your side?
It was pretty much the same. Ultimately, you felt like you were chasing number after number.
Right.
Um, we basically were able to open the locker, which gave us a number that helped us open a combination lock. But we really just didn't get any clues out of what we were hoping for. The main frustration on my end was we had a telephone.
Okay.
And clearly you needed to get a phone number to call into it and hopefully get a clue. So it took us a long time, including working with you on the other side, to have the full phone number. But when I dialed it, a woman answered the phone, and there really was no clue other than the fact that she said, "I will see you in 4 days."
Nice. And we had a calendar on our side that said, had a date on it. And of course, the way my mind was speaking, because it was on the date, it said like July 10th, 2023. So I was like, oh, that's got to be a number. Was not a number at all that we used. It was such a waste of time. So then we tried the Friday number, which was from the 10th. That didn't work either. So frustrating. And the two people I was with, the one lady she's great. But like her boyfriend, he actually within 10 minutes, now we have an hour, within 10 minutes, he was actually like sitting on the actual jail bed. He quit in 10 minutes. And then, well, one of the things that got me really frustrated with this place was on really crotchety was the bars were plastic. Like I went to lean on them thinking that they're metal and I'm not exactly very svelte. I thought I was about to break through the jail cell. Now that at least would have been funny and worth $150 for everyone to see and laugh at me. But anyway, so it wasn't a good time. Oh, I guess the big question, were you able to escape?
No, in fact, they even kept giving us an extra minute here and there.
Wow.
But eventually they ended the game. And I guess what frustrated me is when I've been to a previous escape room, if you didn't get out, they gave you a very full explanation
Right.
of where the clues were and how they ended up getting me to the point where you could get out. But our handler, I'll call him,
The handler.
he really didn't go over into details about how you could have gotten those combination locks open.
Right, right.
And, you know, as I told you, I've been to an escape room in Leesburg, Virginia, and it was real. I mean,
It was
a
real.
room, it had desks, it had books, and you mentioned finding a quotation in a book,
Right.
and getting a clue. It
Yep.
had that sort of thing in it. And you
Yeah.
had a lot of teasers, so to speak, but they actually, you could solve each clue.
Right.
But when we were at, it was just a bunch of numbers, and
It was pretty bad.
it was pretty
It
bad.
was pretty bad. We had the toilet, the jail cell toilet, and I was almost afraid to open the lid. And then you open it, and you're like, "Oh wait, there's no actual water in this." Duh. But at the same time, you're like kind of disappointed it didn't have any water in it, or that it couldn't flush or anything. I would have had a working toilet anyway. It was garbage. I would go back to another escape room. What about you?
I would, but not to that place.
Yeah, I definitely. We're not going to mention the name of the places because we don't want them finding us and actually locking us in there because we wouldn't ever be able to escape. So what else was on your plan? Uh, um, I'm trying to. Wow, what else was there? Oh, yeah, there was axe throwing, wasn't there?
Yes, we did go axe throwing.
That was that. By the way, if you've never gone axe throwing and you're a crotchety old person who likes to bitch and complain and just need to vent and you can't vent verbally, axe throwing. I mean, where you get to pick up axes, throw them at wood. It's pretty fun. What do you think? I loved it.
I loved it too, and it was interesting because overall for the hatchets, that's what I call them. The larger ones were meant to be used with both hands over
Okay.
your head, and then you fire away. But then they had smaller versions that were meant to be used with just one hand to
Hmm.
swing your way.
Right.
And then the young man that was helping us and was very kind brought over really small stainless steel devices, I'll call them,
They were like mini hatchets. They were really tiny.
and thin. But you seem to get a lot of enjoyment out of
I
it.
did. I thought they would like fall apart. By the way, those things were sharp on the top was sharp. The actual blade was sharp. Everything about them. I went a little crazy with them. Like I was trying to like throw them pretty much like under my legs and from the side. I was like I was like Beverly Hills Ninja. Uh, Chris Farley movie, great movie. Anyway, like there was one time where I actually threw them at the ceiling accidentally, and I hit one of the pipes. Luckily, it didn't get stuck. But the weird part with is, so we're at an arcade. We're actually at it's part of an arcade. It's not a huge arcade, but it was decent size. It's a Saturday afternoon, and nobody was in the arcade but us. It was very weird. It was kind of crazy. But one of the things I also thought was kind of they actually wanted us to go online and fill out. Yeah, and here I am, Mister Old Man. I don't know what it's called. One of those little square barcode thingamadoodles. Like they wanted us to like download this thing that had all of our information on it, and just in case one of us accidentally threw an axe at each other. And I was like, we all like had to fake our names. We all fake names and phone numbers because like there's no way. But how many people actually use those things? Yeah, so I wasn't about to do it, but recommended axe throwing. Like that was really fun. Then what did we do? We had dinner. That was fun. I think. What did we do for dinner? I don't even remember. My
Well, it was a very nice restaurant.
Oh yeah, that
Rooftop,
duh.
rooftop, right?
Duh. Where I actually had a non-alcoholic beverage that I actually thought had alcohol in it. Yeah, that was what's the name for it? Non-a-hole or something? No hole. They actually have a special name for mixed drinks without alcohol. And I got one thinking it had alcohol, and I was like, wow, there's no alcohol in it. Like I drank it so quick. I was like, wow, this is smooth. I look like such an ass. Luckily, the one guy next to me is like, man, these probably should have alcohol. And I just was quiet. I was like, oh my God, I'm such a dork. Like I literally, but I don't really need the alcohol, but that was actually cool. But it was like a rooftop place, and you had something good. What did you have? Was like that a steak or what were you eating?
I was eating braised ribs.
Braised ribs that were the size of a steak.
Yeah, actually, they're called short ribs.
Short
I
ribs.
guess.
Okay. Now, do short ribs come from a short cow? Like,
I'm not sure.
okay, just I don't know. I don't know these things. Maybe from a. Well, I was about to say a female cow. Duh, they're all females. How come they don't have bull ribs? I want a bull rib. I would think that would be like a big giant piece of meat.
What's your favorite favorite piece of meat?
I can't go into that right now. No, I'm just kidding. It depends. I am not an expert at beef. You would think I would be. I mean, like I love like briskets and stuff, but I don't know where they come from on the animal. I'd rather not know because like every time, like when I was a kid, and my mom would be like, "Hey, we're gonna have some rump roast." Seriously, I'm eating some animal's butt. Ew, nasty. But I don't want to do that. That's, but you know, it's probably the best part. But you know, yeah, I don't know animal. I need to look into that by next week. On next week's podcast, I am going to know cuts of meat and where they're from. That's my mission. So that's I'll put that on my itinerary. So we go home. It was
You're forgetting one part.
oh, what was the one part I'm forgetting about the trip?
The festival and the witches.
Oh, I was trying to forget about it. It's like etched in my head forever. Okay, you gotta. I'm gonna let you explain it because I literally still have crazy visions in my mind.
Well, again, we were in downtown Blacksburg and there was a festival going on with a 80s band and a lot of arts and crafts booths. So we walked all the way down to the pavement where the band was and got some ice cream. And suddenly we started looking around and there were just witches everywhere.
Yes,
And it was
actual
kind of creepy.
witches. Not kidding. And this is why this is in my head. So it was like a festival, and I guess because it was also Pride Month, you had people having a good old time. They were happy. The other word for happy, but that would be a trigger on myself. But then all of a sudden, like these witches, they were all different ages. There were anyone from like younger girls, maybe like 11, 12. They were having a good old time. But then there would be like older ladies, like ladies in their 60s, 70s. And I think some of them actually had plastic surgery to look even more like witches. I mean, like scary witches, not like super, hey, I'm a sexy witch. None of that. No, 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 no. I mean, these ladies literally look like they would cast real spells on you that they probably eat like little children. I mean, that was so freaky. And there was a lot of them. There was like 20 or 30 of them. And I don't know who told me. I don't pay attention to, I was too busy staring at these people. But they said like they were going to do some kind of ritual after the band was done. Um, yeah, so I'm in the middle of the country in Blacksburg, Virginia, which is out there. It's a good redneck area, and you have a bunch of witches. Now, in the news, what was it like a week or 2 weeks ago? You had like two witches that were like eating an animal on a game trail, and here we're actually seeing real witch. I'm calling them real. Like they didn't have like little glitter or anything. Like they weren't fake witches. These were like real witches. Like I was a little nervous about them, and yeah, I couldn't wait to get out of there. We were only there for what, like maybe like a half hour.
Yeah, we kind of walked out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was worried, because I'm squeamish. Squeamish about witches. I'm terrified of them. I don't know why. Maybe because I look like Hansel of Hansel and Gretel.
Well, it just didn't make sense. It was a summer festival. One would think if you're going to see witches, it would be for an October festival.
Yeah, like Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Oktoberfest witches would be interesting. Like they're wearing like lederhosen. They have big giant things of beer. Anyway, that would be bizarre. So we go home, and then we had another adventure where we went bowling. Now, I got to start off, I suck at bowling. Okay. When I was a little kid, like they had the star of the week, but no one told me that they award it to a new kid every single time until everybody wins a trophy. So I was always getting a trophy. And I'm like, hey, I'm a pretty good bowler by the time I was like 11, but I stink. I mean, if I can get 100, I am absolutely ecstatic. So I go with Crotchety Abigail, Miss. I'm a professional bowler. What is your high score in bowling?
My high score, which is very rare to achieve, was over 200.
Okay.
227.
227. I can barely bowl a 97. And she's like, I can bowl 227. So, but there was a reason she didn't have a great first game. Oh, I forgot the most important part. So why this is crotchety? So because this wasn't a really happy-go-lucky. What was the cost of going bowling for 2 hours?
For two adults, for 2 hours, and they throw in rental shoes, it was $150.
$150 for bowling. Do you think that Fred Flintstone would go bowling for $150? I mean, it was so ridiculous. No food, no food at all. I mean, like you can go to a movie now, like one of these ridiculous movie theaters, and literally you can get some popcorn, you get sodas and everything, and you walk out of there, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe how much I spent. Not $150. And what did we play? Like 4 games? Something like that?
Yeah, that's about all we could last.
Yeah, 4 games. And once, by the way, once again, I never actually got 100. I suck. God, I'm terrible at bowling. But anyway, now there was another good reason why we had to go bowling, and someone had a brand new ball that they had to try out.
Yes, I did. And I had purchased it over 6 months ago. And I used this opportunity to break the ball out and try to break it in.
Now, how do you break in a ball? Like, do you rub the ball? Do you caress the ball? Do you talk to the ball? Do you kiss the ball? Like, how do you like break your ball in? Because we know that breaking balls is bad.
Breaking balls is bad, but all I do with it is I roll
You roll the ball.
it.
Do you use two hands when you're rolling the ball? Do you
No,
just
I'm a single hand
you're
person.
a single hand? Okay, so you single-handedly roll the ball.
But I think you were surprised by my bowling bag.
Oh, okay. So once again, I'm thinking 1960s, 50s bowling bag where it's like one ball and two handles. Abigail comes in with freaking luggage. It was like, is Samsonite still like a popular luggage brand? But like she like walks in like with the like literally like a little carrier. I'm like, wait, is she on? Does she have clothes in there? What does those bags hold?
Well, my bag can hold two balls.
Not because every sack or bag should have two balls. But we do know one person who will not be named at this moment in time who only has one ball. But sorry, I digress.
So my bag also holds bowling shoes
Shoes.
and bowling accessories.
Mhm.
And I've been bowling for about 4 or 5 years, and at least three of them have been in leagues.
Okay.
And some of the men have ball bags that hold three or even four bowling balls.
4 balls. So
Yeah,
so there is hope for some people who only have one ball that they can actually buy something that has multiple balls.
absolutely.
Now, you say bowling a ball. I'm all over the place again. So accessories. What kind of accessories go with bowling? I actually don't know this. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know.
Well, there's a rag to wipe your ball down because it will get oil on
Yeah, yeah, you always should be wiping your balls.
it. And
Sorry,
then
people. My mind is in the gutter.
and some people use powder to dry
Powder.
their hands out
Baby
so
powder.
they're not sweating. No, it's a special powder for bowling balls.
So there's literally a bowling ball powder. God, I don't know these things, but I completely. I guess you know what? In baseball, they have like the rosin bag in the back, and that's for
Yeah,
baseball. But like,
it's the same concept.
okay, all right. See, trying to get back on target. I gotta get away from talking about balls. You never know who's listening to this podcast. Um, so now on the drive down, we started to talk about golf. Another sport I don't know. I'm like the least like worldly guy when it comes to like blue collar sports. I don't know golf and I don't know bowling. So I was asking you, I don't know anything about the merger between what is it, the Live, Live, Love, Lulu, Lemon, what the two golf leagues. I know what the PGA is. But
Yes,
okay,
PGA is basically the historical association for professional golfers.
okay.
And Greg Norman, who used to be a famous golfer,
The Great White Shark. Remember him on ESPN?
that always had a hard time winning.
Okay.
And
You said hard.
he's the commissioner and somewhat of the brains behind this new league that's Live.
Live.
And if
Okay.
you look at it in Roman numeral numbers, it ends up being 54.
Okay.
And this is where one of the biggest difference between the two leagues is the PGA bowls 72. I'm sorry, bowls. I'm back at bowling.
Yeah.
It,
Both have balls.
it golf. They they have 72 holes, but for the new league, it's 54.
Okay. Not
And
Studio 54.
no, not Studio 54.
Okay.
But it equates to only having to bowl. It's
You're
very,
bowling
very
again.
good.
I'm
So
sorry.
sorry.
This is why we're crotchety because we keep making mistakes, but that's okay. That's why good thing we're not live, but we're still going with it. So you're playing golf.
For golf rounds, for the PGA, you have to book golf 4 rounds: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But with the new Live League, you only have to play 3 days: Friday,
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday. And of course, the most important element is money.
Money.
And they
Yep.
make more money under the new league, which is backed by Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
And a lot of people have a hard time with that due to human rights violations.
Okay. So outside of the human rights, you work less and get paid more.
That's about right, yes.
Okay, I can understand why a lot of golfers are doing that.
And the league is just unconventional. I mean,
Hmm.
at PGA tournaments, they tell you to shh.
Classic.
You can't
Yeah.
make any noise. But with this newer outfit, they play and blast music throughout the entire tournament.
Okay.
They have a looser dress code so they can wear shorts. And there's a lot of drinking.
Can you drink while playing?
No, the golfers cannot.
Okay, so John Daly is still like, damn it, I can't drink while I'm playing.
Right, and he can't smoke either.
Man, so okay.
He used to do that.
Oh yeah, I know. And then he used to eat like what, M&Ms or something like that, or Skittles, something like that, to stop him from. I don't know. I might be making that up, folks. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. So it's almost like a Happy Gilmore kind of thing, where like where the fans are into it. Like, I don't know if everyone has not seen that movie, they should. Freaking hilarious movie. But I get to see guys with like those famous beer mug hats where you got 2 beer cans and the straw, and you got to drink both at the same time. And like they got the fat guys with the Happy Gilmore like painted on their stomachs and everything. That was cool. So the controversy is that the Saudi Arabians and their human rights violations. That's the big issue. Is there any other issue?
That is the main issue, and the PGA is basically very snobbish. They want to own the whole realm of golf, but you just had defectors. One of which was Phil Mickelson, who really is beyond his time, but
Okay.
he was a major player that defected. And essentially, PGA threatened to ban those that would cross over to the other side from coming back to play in PGA tournaments. And one of the most outspoken person about the defectors was Rory McIlroy. And I think you noticed something about him, even though you don't watch golf. You saw him being interviewed.
And that's, by the way, when we were driving, this is what started our whole conversation about golf. I'm like, okay, there's Rory McIlroy. Is that right? How he says it? Rory, not Corey. Okay. So Rory McIlroy, he's sitting there wearing a Nike cap and talking about, oh, it's not fair. These guys took the money. You literally have a Nike cap. Literally, you are getting paid from a company that literally might have little 3-year-old kids, making your shoes and your attire. Like, Nike is based in China. I mean, let's get real here. So you're complaining about human rights. I mean, like, I think like they have slaves still in China. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, it's one of the same problems I have with like the NBA, like LeBron James complaining about stuff while he's like, oh, I'll be quiet, and just give me my money. Or even, you notice how Michael Jordan, even though he doesn't do any talking, like he got how many billions from Nike? All of these athletes are getting ridiculous. So I don't know. So it was there. So now they are merging. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think the details remain to be seen. But I do believe that the beer sponsor is going to be up in the air, and I don't think it's going to be Bud Light.
Oh, wow. Especially with all the party goers. I mean, they're opening this up to blue collar fans, I think, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So that was an interesting thing. Now, the other day, I wasn't going to share this, but I was convinced by Miss Crotchety Abigail of what happened to me at work the other day. So I kind of had an instance where I don't know what to do in this kind of situation. I literally I'm going to the men's room. I had a couple coffees. I had to urinate. Okay. So I went to go pee and I unzip, I'm letting the flow go. And all of a sudden, like a thing, I think it was it wasn't a caterpillar, but it wasn't a centipede or it was some kind of centipede. It wasn't red. It was like, it was gray and had all of these like spikes and stuff, and it was scary. And it was on top of the urinal. So I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm not going to do anything. All of a sudden, it starts racing around the urinal. It's going in, it's going out, it's going all over the. Now, I hate bugs and I'm totally afraid of them. I literally, like, for 2 minutes of my life, it was like life and death. I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, all of a sudden, like when he was in the urinal, I'm trying to pee on him because I literally don't know if this thing can sting. Can it bite? Is it that, like, I'm worried it's gonna like jump off, like off the urinal and on my little wiener. I was not very happy. I mean, this thing was, I'm not kidding, the size of my pinky. I mean, the full length of my pinky, not just a little bit. I mean, it was big. I mean, it was a few inches. Terrified. I literally, like, I'm like looking around. Do I stop peeing? Do I like scurry around like with my pants down? Like, I don't know what to do. Anyway, I was terrified. I was really getting angry at this thing and it disappeared. I literally said, I don't care. I literally just went as fast as I'm squeezing it out. I'm like, ah, yeah. And then I like look around. I just zip up my pants and I race out of there. I didn't wash my hands. Ew, gross. I used my elbow to get out, race into the kitchen, get to the kitchen. I finally wash my hands and I didn't tell anyone. I'm like, I go back to my office and I just sit there. Like, then I start worrying, oh, is this thing actually on me? Like I'm like looking around, I'm totally freaking out. So then I like manned up. I was like, yeah, you know what? One of us is gonna die, me or that. I walk very slowly. It's a freaking bug. I walk into the bathroom. Now I'm in an office. People are walking by. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I open it up, and there it was, still on the urinal. And I just looked at it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna kill it. I'm gonna wait for someone else. Well, like, so maybe one of my other coworkers.
Well, when you told the story to me, I was very horrified for you because
Thank
it is
you.
scary, especially when the thing is just flying around.
I haven't looked up. I got to look it up. I want to find out what it was because was it like, I want to know, like, was it a centipede? Like, what if it was like a poisonous bug? Like, I have such a fear of scorpions, but like, what was it? What if it had a stinger on it? Like, what if it and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden it bit my wiener. Like, can you imagine, like coming out of there and calling my reception? Hey, oh, I can't mention her name, but hey, person who works with us, like, I got bitten on my wiener. Like, is that an HR issue? I don't know. Anyway. Thank you for enjoying our podcast. This is a unique one where we're just kind of winging it today, as we will have guests next weekend for our next podcast. This is our first. Please join us. We'd love to hear from you. We are on Facebook at We Are Crotchety Old Men. That's on Facebook. We're going to get all of our other social media up very, very shortly. But reach out to us. We are crotchety old men at gmail.com. We'd love to have you join our show and you could tell us some crotchety stories of what's going on. Or if you don't want to be on the show, you could always just shoot us emails and we would love to hear from you. With that, I'm going to do a little more singing for you again, because I know you really love my song, as I'm getting this crazy look in my eye in Crotchety Abigail's eyes. We'll see you next week.
Have a good week.
We are crotchety old men. We are crotchety old men. I am crotchety, they are crotchety. We are crotchety old men.